were.
Yeah,
your
I'm
engineer
like,
brain's trying to figure it out, trying to do the maths.
Because I'm like, if there's 8 rounds.
Hey, I love this. So GLHS in the chat, I love that. But I've noticed every now and then you find a player that doesn't write GLHF. They just write HF or HFHF. Fisho did that. Do you think there's a bit of taboo around wishing luck to your opponent? Because you don't really want your opponent to get lucky, do you?
Oh, this is the most stupid conversation that we've had on the cast by a long way. This is ridiculous. So you're saying that saying GLHF is bad juju?
Yeah.
You think?
100%. That is mega bad juju.
But saying have fun is good juju.
Oh, it's fine to wish your opponents have a bit of fun with it. And see,
Oh,
look
yeah,
at that!
right, okay,
Drift
so-
is going mad with it.
So you're saying that the Drift is having the good juju to
He's got the
counter
good
his
juju.
teammates' bad juju.
I think it was the Bliss guys. Some of them said good luck.
Oh, okay, so
That was
it's all
bit of
mellowed
bad
out
juju.
now.
Bit of bad juju.
Can't be saying that, man. It does not matter, all right? For all those in chat, it does not matter. Anyway, the
The
bands.
scientist has entered the building, apparently.
I'm not a scientist, actually. I'm an engineer.
Ah, too good to be a scientist.
No, not too good to be a scientist. All right, so I think I've been watching too much Big Bang Theory recently,
Oh,
right? You know
my
how they always make fun
condolences.
of poor Howard for being an engineer? I felt that, man.
True,
I feel that
yes.
on like a spiritual level. That's mean. That's real mean. Anyway, engineer supremacy. Clubhouse, the bans have happened.
They have.
Jaeger's banned out. That's interesting. I wonder why they did that.
They're getting saucy with it.
Who banned out Jaeger?
It was Bandits. They're the ones starting on defense, and they're about to get naded.
Defenders, protect your
Yeah,
bombs from being
that's a
confused
curious
by
one
attackers.
for me. Of all the bans that I would have gone on the defense, I don't know if Jaeger would have been the one that I would have done, especially when you have a lot of good defenders. But I guess they are playing defense first, so that's fair enough. Maybe they just want to keep everything on the cards for themselves. They are going to go down to that basement. It does look like they are going to extend themselves in through the map, so the reinforcements are going to go out on the external walls in the top floor. So they're going to try and look to hold onto the map in its entirety. Not just that, but it's going to be aided by the Castle of Drift as well. So they will want to be holding on for as long as they can. Meanwhile, on the side of Bliss, it doesn't look like they're too phased by it. They're not going to be bringing along any of that Jackal or any of the sorts. Perhaps playing this Jaeger ban, we've got extra explosives in the form of the Ash and the Iona. So, yeah. Bliss leaning into the late game a little bit more, wanting to take those explosives.
Very cool. Very cool. But what do you think of this defense from Bandit? We got a castle. We got a roam going on. We got the Oryx to jump up the hatches. We got a bit of Legion. You got to sprinkle a little bit of Legion in there every now and then.
Ooh.
Hopefully he doesn't die.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good, hey? You need those Legion mines to regenerate through the round, of course. You get one or two of them at the beginning, but you get more if you stay alive. So staying alive is a good thing. That was my one Will Buxton moment of the
Staying
night.
alive.
Oda's going to go in through Strip Club, although the Beep Beep will give away his position, and Drift is going to meet him on the other side.
He's doing a bit of a cheeky on the other side of this castle barricade, but Bliss are droning ahead. I think Oda may have seen him cross. If you listen closely... Oh, yeah, there you go. He's going to spot him. There you go. Hello. But this is a really awkward angle, isn't it? The tough one. Drift is just running around like a headless chicken at this rate. He's going to fall into someone's hands, no doubt.
Well, I think the next point is, right, like, yes, they've got the entire top floor. I can only imagine off the back of the pre-placed drones. And now it's going to be the vertical game, right? It's Sage who's got the sledge in his hands. And all of them have fallen back inside of that bar position. So that vertical is going to really then enable the ground floor players to make their move. Oda making his move just slightly too early is going to have his head taken off. And Drift as well is going to win that fight actually through the vertical hole that had been made as he falls back out through Moto. So a really good roam. Super high value from Bandits in the first round.
Yeah, that's not great. That's not a good way to start it for Bliss, is it? But Bandits on the other hand, they're hot on their heels. They've fallen off this roam with a 2-player advantage, and Bliss is still looking a little bit awkward, looking a little bit unsure of themselves as they try and re-drone. They're pretty confident that all these players have gone back to site, but with a minute left, 2 players down, someone's going to have to go nuki.
Unfortunately for Bliss, they have done a bit of a silly, unfortunately, losing out on those 2 entry picks, but alas, they can still make their way in towards the bomb site. With very little time left to go, they will have to make the best use possible out of that double hard breach combo of Wettables and Fisher Guy to try and secure themselves more picks. But with the C4 to be tossed up through Lonely onto Fisher Guy, it's not going to make things any easier.
That's right, Brendo's going to ace. Watch this. He's going to walk up Oil. He's going to spot the guy on the left who's going to overpeak him a little bit on the back of that nade. Meanwhile, Wedables, bottom of main stairs. He's going to find one.
That's not bad.
As Brendo gets nice and aggressive with it. He's in an awkward spot. That's a lot of damage, but not the killing blow. As he falls back, he will get shut out. And I was just joking. I never actually thought he was going to win that. He lost it.
Well, yeah, nice first round there for Bandit. They did go for that extension all through the map, and they actually made a great choice for when deciding to fall off when they chose to, right? They realized that the pressure was going to come out from Team Bliss, and I think finding the kill on Oda, who was isolated inside of Bathroom, just taking that 1 versus 1 and actually winning it against him, not just that, but getting the fall-off kill onto Sage on the vertical was really what turned that round away. For Team Bliss, and Bandits were able to claim the first one.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Good start there for Bandits, hey? Now let's see if they can keep up that momentum. They've already got as many rounds in this game as Desire did in the game just past against Mammoth. Now, you might say, look, attacking is hard, but this is Bliss we're talking about. This is the supposed best team in the region going up against the bottom team in the region, the only one in this league who does not yet have a win. Bandits, every round that they get here is a huge dub.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, I think it's exactly right for Bandit, right? They want to be claiming as much as they can and get as much experience and wins as you can in this game as you possibly can. I think coming into today, we said that Bandit were the only statistical team that was completely locked out of that major spot. Now I think a few other teams have fallen into that.
Everyone but
everyone but
Bliss,
Triple R, yes,
and
Mammoth have fallen into that bracket now as well. So I think for these guys, there's not much at stake anymore. And when there's not much at stake and you're just playing with the pressure off, you just have a good time, you know, test a few things out. That is when you perform pretty well, as we found with Kelton's Knights. So yeah, I think Bandits here have a good time.
Well, they've been playing pretty well so far, and all it takes is a pick here or there on your defense to make a round very, very achievable. MML is getting nice and aggressive downstairs, but he's about to feel a little bit of pressure. I believe that was Oda moving in from stock. He's got the nades in pocket, ready to try and vert any players in cash. It would be Jacko who'd feel the pressure there. Jacko, by the way, subbing in. We haven't really talked about him.
Oh yeah, good point. Oh, there we go.
Here
Surely
comes
that
the
nade is
nade.
going to sink. Yeah,
Poor
nice
man.
one from Oda. Good first pick, goes in the way of Bliss, but MML's there to try and meet him on the other side. I think Oda has a small inkling that there could be someone here on the ground floor, so he's going to send out a Gemini to go and check it before he pushes on forward.
And there goes the Gemini. MML is going to fall back as well. So Oda's actually keen to take this 1v1, but MML's getting really, really far away. Look at that. He's run all the way down the basement. He's going to come up the main stairs. But that does mean that if Bliss collapsed on Side right now, they would be in a 5v3. And in fact, they have taken already quite a bit of control. There's a player already in cash. Now, where is the rest of the... Okay, so all the other Bandits players are back on site now. They've completely forfeited control of the cash side of the map.
Yeah, well, the Jacuzzi breach has been opened up nice and early from Wedables as well, who's rotated there in the midst of all the chaos and actually gone and done that. So Team Bliss have got a pretty strong grip hold around the exterior of the bomb site. Not just that, but surely Oda's going to be able to sink this second grenade as well. It might not sink, but it does give him the vertical angle that he needs to claim the kill. MML, though, does complete his mission down below and will eventually take out Oda, but with 50 seconds left to go, the site's being pressured out pretty hard.
Yeah, that's awkward for Bandits now. MML in a 1 versus 4. He would need to ace up this round. He's got a nice bit of mechanics on him with that QE peak. Sage just around the corner, but it's his brother to find the closing kill. A good start there for Bliss. They converted the opening kills and made it look pretty easy at it.
Yeah, I think they did a good job there in enabling Oda in his position down below to claim the 2 picks that he did to open up that round, right? This is the first one that's coming out in the replays. A nice yellow ping. I can only imagine Fisher or Sage on the other side there pinging it out and giving him what he needed. Not just that, but even the second one, they actually had info on the bomb site despite there being the presence of the mute to enable Oda for that second kill, really open things up, and they could land that flood after that.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
So back into the swing of things for Bliss, which is nice after that awkward first round. And Bandits are actually going to retry this same gym bomb site. What are they going to look at from last round and say, okay, this is where things went wrong. We're going to change it this time because kind of everything went wrong. Maybe they're going to put a little bit more pressure on Oda downstairs because he opened up the round massively with 2 big kills through the vert.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Like, when you're going into this gym bedroom bomb site, often you are going to see that extension over into cache, and so the control that is often given away to the attack is those positions down below, right? So teams like Team Bliss, where they have a very strong lurk player like Oda, are going to try and make full use of that. So MML in the last round, he did try and go on his mission beforehand, if we remember, looking back on it, to try and 1 versus 1 Oda inside of the ground floor.
And then he ran away with tail between his legs.
Yeah, exactly. He did need to run away with it. Like, he did complete his mission in the end. You know, he did claim the 1, but a little bit too late. So they might need to put a little bit more pressure down. So I think this is the adaptation that you're looking for, right? You're seeing these footsie holes going out on the stock wall to prevent Oda from getting in, but he's actually flipped his entry point and he's going to go in through the strip side instead. So.
That's funny. That's what happened first round, right? Like, Oda just lurks in from strip. Second round, he lurks in from stock. He's going strip this time, it seems. He really is trying to be a bit of a jigsaw, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got such a different role. He last season was flank watch, and now he's droning himself in and trying to take free map control.
It is really important to have a player like Oda, though, on the team, on the lurk. Like, often it can be quite challenging to play a good lurking role because you can get a little bit, like, overzealous with the map control you have. Often with a player like this, you're relying on your own info a lot of the time, right? You're not always being enabled by your support players, especially when you're taking from the other side of the map like Oda. Meanwhile, in the camp of Bliss, they are actually turning their sights towards the bomb site. They're not going to look for that sweep from cache side across because they don't have the support of the grenades from below. So they're going to put the pressure out on the balcony and see what they can find on the inside.
Well, already putting a lot of pressure on is Bliss. While they haven't fully cleared out the cache side of the map, they're starting to torque up the pressure on the bomb site itself. They've breached the main wall, and Brendo actually tempted to swing in from CCTV and take a fight. He takes Jacko down incredibly low on the HP, but doesn't quite get that kill that he was looking for.
It does look like they are going to still continue with this direct take onto the bomb site, though. They are still not putting any pressure over on that cache side, and instead are going to try and choke out some of these anchor players left on the bomb site, right? So the first grenade to be sent in is going to try and take down that Vault player, but doesn't quite sink. Meanwhile, on the other side, Wettables is actually going to be taken down by Lonely just outside of Gym, so that's the kit going down in a pretty tough spot as well.
Oda's looking to lurk from below, but his presence has been revealed by that goo mine. This is an uncomfortable position for Bliss, to say the least, but might be able to put some pressure onto Drift here with the Salmas. I think they might be muted off or something at the moment. Drift is still holding this line. He does win the fight onto Brendo. Great position now for Bandits. 35 seconds on the clock, and Bliss have no clue what to do here. Another pick now for Bandits. Nothing working out in Bliss's favor, unless if Oda can conjure up some magic from the top of main stairs. But he's walking into a shotgun. Fish has found one, and him dying baits out Oda. A great round from Bandits, and they've once again taken the lead.
Really good caution there for Bandits on that defense. They were very prepared for that setup down below. It was a nice adaptation to actually send Drift down there on the Legion to keep tabs on what was going on in the ground floor. Of course, if you're Legion, you're one of the more self-sufficient defenders, right? Not only are you able to hold on to an angle actively, but you can also hold on to the rest of the entry positions passively too. So I think that keeping Oda at base side, all that the rest of Bandits needed to do was sit in their power positions on site, not get choked out to utility, which they did because they played so cautiously, and then just wait for Bliss to make their move. So really well played there for Bandits to play the more disciplined game and close it out.
They're looking really happy on their defense.
Yeah,
credit to them. This is not easy to defend, right? Like our last game, Mammoth, I'm trying to remember, did Mammoth start on the defense? I'm just checking. So Mammoth started on the attack and won 5 out of 6 rounds, Mandy. Desire, it took them 4 rounds and a tactical timeout to get their first defense. In stark contrast here, Bandits had a great first round, a great third round, repeating this bomb site they just lost and succeeding on it.
10 seconds
That's
left.
perfect. So they might be on their defense, the favored side, but they're going up against the best team in the region and the best players in the region, and they're making it look very achievable.
Yeah, they're doing really well here. I think for Bliss, they might be overcomplicating a little bit. I think like you were comparing them to Mammoth just then, right, in their performance against Bandit. I think Mammoth's just one of those teams that can keep it simple and execute it. Whereas I think for Bliss here, there are some things that I would say they're overthinking a little bit here on their attack of Clubhouse. But alas, they are going to resort back instead to this full roam clear of the map. It is going to be down in that basement bomb site, as we alluded to before over in the prep phase. It's going to be that same extension up through the top 3 floors, but this time it's not going to be aided as much by the castle or as much by the setup. So MML is going to be all on his lonesome here and actually takes quite a chunk of damage on the entry.
He almost had that fight. I think it's Oda on the other side. Could be Brendo. I didn't quite see which outline it was. No, it must be Brendo because Oda's so far away now. But Oda actually has managed to sneak into the top floor, and he might actually be able to find some kills from this position if any of these Bandit players don't realize that that map control has been given up. Now, remember last time Bandits used the castle to roam. That's gone. Instead, they're going for a much more loosey-goosey way of it, and MML is actually going to lose his life for it, with all the other members of Bandits falling back to site.
Yeah, so as a result, the real estate of the map has been given up to Team Bliss to start to work through this mid-round. The danger here for Bandit is that on the side of Bliss, there is actually quite a lot of explosives. Not only is there 2 sets of grenades, but you also have the ranged explosives of the Ash on Oda as well. So whatever setup they decide to go for, they can actually clear it against the Azami if they plan it well.
Yeah, there is going to be a little bit of time required, though, to burn through all this util, because Bandits have reinforced all the hatches. They've got the Kaid as well. You can see Jacko is actually trying to juggle one of them at the moment. I'm not sure what hatches are the main priorities here for Bliss, because that Moto hatch is going to be very awkward. Here comes the stock hatch opened up, nice and easy. But of course, no Thatcher present and no EMPs brought by Bliss means that that Moto hatch is going to stay shut.
They might be able to roll a grenade into it through the hallway if they know how to do that lineup, but it might not be mission critical to their push either way. It might just be that they want to go for a kitchen hatch drop here, especially with all the explosives and vertical that they have. All they need to do is flush out the position in the back of Arsenal, which is perfect from the combination of Oda and Sage there on the vertical and horizontal in tandem to clear out his position. All they need to do now is work some of this explosives to make sure there's no Goyos denying the plants, and then eventually they'll be able to send it in with the utility. So far, the planning stage is going pretty well for Bliss.
The thing is, Mandy, there's not a lot of planning stage left. 30 seconds and ticking away. Every moment is a chance for Bandits to win this round. Well, not if Lonely's going to do that. But Team Bliss are going to have to go big here. Oda's found 3 on the round. Lonely and a Razor. The try and hold stalwart against the influx of pink that is overwhelming them on the site.
10 seconds left.
It's just Eraser remains. He is completely caught out. And Bliss win the round flawlessly.
Yeah, really simple round there for Bliss. Just not a lot of congestion, I think, in the top 2 floors of the entire map. Ultimately, they were given quite a lot of real estate to work with through the mid-rounds, and Bliss reading really well into what they needed. They didn't overcommit, I would say, to that roam clear. It would have been very easy to fall into that trap, especially with how well Bandits played the roam the first time around, but actually making sure that they had enough utility to clear out all those armies, all those Goyos on the bomb site once they got there was what they needed to push that over the line and make that execute work.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Yeah, very exciting for Bliss that they're able to win the round so flawlessly. But for Bandits, we've seen them go back to bomb sites that they've lost and get it right on the second try. So if they could do it on Gym Bedroom, who's to say they can't do it here as well on the basement? Now, of course, when they brought the castle the very first round, when they did that heavy roam, they got the first 2 picks and they converted the round win. Now they're going to change their strategy once again. Instead of going for that super loose game, they've brought that castle back again. They're doing it in tandem with this mute, with the Capcan, the Legion traps. There's a lot going on here for Bandits, and if they can win this roam game like they did in the first round, then surely they can take the advantage here.
Yeah, but hang on a second. Look at the repick that's gone on for Bliss on the other side. I spy with my little eye. Blitz on Wettables. So they are trying to lean into this super fast-paced entry clear with that Blitz to try and take down these roamers and not be killed on their way out.
Uh-oh. That's a bit too ambitious a spawn peek. No, that was not even a spawn peek. That was a pre-fire through the con window, was it? Damn, that's no, maybe it was gym window. Yeah, it was his gym window spawn peek. Okay, that was just MML.
Drift is going to do the same one.
I'm just going to say it, MML, that was just a bad take.
No, dude. Drifter's got some confidence. He's going to go for the second one. Oh my goodness. Brendo as well is able to find his own on secret stairs as he's able to gain a lot of control very near to the bomb site. So scary times for Bliss. But yeah, look.
Yeah, this is exactly what Bliss wants. They want to be fed picks, right? And that's exactly what Bandits are doing. Now in a 2v5, like, you have to play aggressive because if you don't, you're just going to die on sight. But in a 5v5 and a 4v5, don't keep forcing the issue to Bliss, Bandits. You've been doing so well so far. Don't throw it away.
Well, Eraser's in not a bad spot. Okay, he's actually going to fall back instead of making the play.
Uh-oh.
Lonely is going to try and go for his own play, but doesn't quite work, and it's going to leave Eraser all on his own in the 1 versus 5 through blue.
Come on, Wet Tables. Go give him a face full of blitz, mate. No, not even going to be necessary. He's getting crossfired by 2 players. Back-to-back flawless rounds for Bliss.
Yay.
On the basement. Yay, indeed. They've really turned it up here.
Yeah, they've done well. I think just bring it back to what they need to do the best, and I think it's just go for like that pinch clear in the top floor, right? They're not sending like Oda on his own on a lurk to go and do something anymore. They're actually enabling both their entries 1-to-1, drone on each entry, just get them in, give them the info that they need, and find that first pick and eventually meet somewhere in the middle on their roam clear. So yeah, I think a classic pinch roam clear is what they just needed. Keep it simple and execute it well.
And it helps when you find a lot of early engagements.
Yeah.
Right? That makes a huge difference for Bliss. They really want to have that simplification of the game, right? Too many pieces on the board, just simplify. And now Bandits have one last chance at redemption. They got a lead 2-1, and since then they have not got a single kill. Can they tie up the half in a nice neat bow 3-3 and move on to their attacks, which won't be easy, by the way? Or they go down 4-2. With Bliss firmly in control of the momentum going into their defense.
Yeah, right. So for Bliss, they're actually not going to lean into this Thatcher at all. So unfortunately for Eraser, there is no Thatcher Thermite game to be played here in the early round. That wall is just going to be open for free to Wettables. On the other side, for Fisher Guy well, holding on to that second hard breach of Ace, I can only imagine that he's going to want to put pressure on the other side of the map inside of Con. So I think Bliss here leaning into what should be a pretty multifaceted take onto this top floor. And we'll see if they can do it. Well,
you mentioned the lack of Thatcher, going for the Maverick instead. It's the perfect idea when you've got a Bandit like Eraser on the board. And once that wall is open, Eraser's in a bit of an awkward position, right? Like, he doesn't have the MP7, he's gone with shotgun. He's not going to have any value from his utility. And so I think Bliss has once again got a perfect read on how to address this round.
Yeah, so I think Wettables is not actually going to trick this wall, but instead just claim... Oh no, he's actually going to trick the wall. Never mind. I thought he was just going to try and sail something over and then get the ace on it, but never mind. I misread where Fisher Guy was, so he's going to try and get this one going for himself. First pick somehow goes in the way of Oda, who I believe has made his way down in from below, so nice lurk so far successful for him. And meanwhile, Bliss checking off all the cards of map control they need. Oda can actually make his way up the main stairs off the back of that and claim half the map to himself.
Once again, an early pick for Bliss, and once again, Jacko struggling to find his feet here. This is only his second game of competitive Rainbow Six he's played at the Tier 1 level in the region. He's yet to find a kill 6 rounds in. Bliss, meanwhile, have steamrolled ahead, and they're looking to take Con control now. Already the breach has been opened completely thanks to that Maverick from Wettables. Brendo to support as well on the rappel, and Bliss is now going to put some serious pressure on this other side of the map. There's a Claymore kill as Lonely jumps out, finds a kill, and is immediately traded. Well, at least he found the pick, but if already Bliss have the numbers advantage, both teams find a kill, then Bliss is just going to stay in the advantage.
Yeah, well, I think the main thing is that's your breach player gun, so Bliss are going to have to supplement that with someone else rotating over to hold that same thing, but Eraser seems pretty ready for that. He's got the shotgun in his hand and is ready to retake that control. Meanwhile, with 50 seconds and ticking back down, that con wall is staying closed with the electrification. Finally, Oda can sink that nade to get that wall open, but is it a little bit too late? With 40 seconds left to go, they actually only have one more drone in their hand to inform what execute they want to go for, and so it really feels like Bandit are in the driver's seat.
They indeed are, especially as they've also managed to trick that wall into sight of Cash. Oda's now going to rotate over and have an impact, but I think Eraser may have heard him. If he has, he should be able to take the 1v1 with the shotgun. Oda has to win this fight for Bliss to win the round, but elsewhere, Fisho has delivered on what he promised. MML's found one onto Wettables, but the plant is about to go down. Eraser, look behind you! 1v2 now, with his teammate downed. He almost could have denied the plant, but the cover is good from Bliss. It was scary, but they got it done. And with that, a convincing 4-2 half.
good call from Bliss in the last couple seconds of the round to actually look for a couple picks before they went down for the plant. I think a big lack of intel there, unfortunately, for Bliss on the attack meant that they really actually had to throw bodies into the bomb site before they were able to go in for that execute. But that was the perfect call that they had to make there, right? In their numbers advantage, you can lean into that trade game, and off the back of a very successful early round, I think that's what really snowballed into them winning out that one.
Yeah, what seemed to be a little bit scary at the start of this game, right, Mandy, with how good Bandits were in those first 3 rounds, the doubts have really been quelled. I think most people watching this right now would think Bliss should take a handy win here. They're now moved onto what is the favored side here on Clubhouse with defense. Bandits, you'd expect them to struggle more than the average team in the league on attack, because unfortunately the teams that struggle in general tend to struggle more on attack than defense. When you're a newer team, you suffer a little bit more when you're the ones that have to be proactive. And so I think most people here would hedge a bet that Bliss have got this. But we've seen them crumble under pressure before, and there is a lot of pressure riding on this game. Keep in mind that Triple R are 5 points ahead of them on the standings. So they really need the full 3 points out of this game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If they do want to close that gap just a little bit, they are looking for a regulation win, which should be achievable against this Bandits roster. We are going to go down to the basement for the first one of this Bliss defense as they start to amount their own half. Meanwhile, they are going to try and hold on to as much map control as they possibly can. Once again, very similar to Bandits, they are actually rearing off the external walls in that top floor and preventing them from making their early entry in.
So it seems like Bandits will go for this like slow and methodical map clear, but a lot easier said than done, as we've seen. And already a mute jammer is going to make that a bit uncomfy there for Eraser on the Buck as he tries to push upstairs. Looks like Brendo's been forced back a little bit as well, but this is just a classic like peel back roam. The layers of the onion are being dealt with. But Bliss will happily just, oh, I'm not going to win that fight. That's fine. I'll fall back as long as I survive. And I delay some time. We've won the roam game.
Yeah, I think the goal here, like you said, is to play to fall off. But with Wettables jumping out of the gym window, Razor is going to find the first one of the round. So a curious one there for Wettables. But alas, the rest of these Bliss players are going to be able to fall off. There is actually a cutoff player outside of the main door that's not just going to find one, but 2 of the Bliss roamers. And that's going to put Bandits in a very heavy man advantage.
Yeah, and it's going to get furthered because Fisher's lost his life elsewhere. Oda, oh, 1 kill. 4 more to go, mate. This is not going to be easy. MML above. Razor is just watching from those angles, but Oda's low HP and MML has come from behind and taken him down. So Bandits will find a 3rd round. It was quite a disaster for Bliss, but the opposite for Bandits.
Yeah, nice push there for Bandits. They just went for your classic, like, hammer and anvil kind of top floor push, right? Have your 2 entries come in for a pinch. Meanwhile, you've got the rest of your players on the outside getting ready for that cutoff as the roamers start to fall off, right? And that was exactly what had happened there down on the main stairs. Unfortunately, taking down 3 of the players, all 3 of the roamers that were actually there inside of the top floor. So very successful early game for Bandits, snowballed into a round win.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Well, I'd like to see a few more of those.
Yeah, that's not bad from them. That's pretty
Not
good.
bad from Bandits. These poor guys only have 1 point on the standings at the moment, and that was from their overtime loss to Secular Spheres.
Oh,
Aerial
wow.
Arise. Yeah, their very first game.
That was the first one that we casted, and then we were like, wow,
We were
Bandits
blown
look
away.
so excited, like, so exciting, you
They
know?
were good as. But also, in the last couple of games, they've had a sub. And they've lost, I can't remember who it was that they've lost. Let me see if I can just check the lineup sheet, because I'm going to get it wrong. Lonely ML Mallow. Mallow's gone. Mallow's been not present for a couple of these games. We've had Jacko instead. And I think that Bandits really have struggled.
So Jake has just called me out though, yeah?
What's he done?
So Jake has just written on the whiteboard, how's Team Guz? Smile. Because Guz said it was going to be a 7-1, and Jake said it was going to be a 7-3.
Well, what if you're
And
both
now-
wrong? What if you're both wrong? Bandits get 1 more round. And yeah, it's...
Mate, if Jake is right here, that's going to be embarrassing for me and Guz. We're
thing
supposed to be the
is,
color commentators of this region.
Our broken clock is still right twice a day. And that's every time Jake is right. That's the first thing that comes to mind for me.
Man, when you're Jake, you got to just say things with conviction, and then you'll like manifest them into happening, you know? Anyway, so Bandit, they're going to amount their attack onto CCTV and Cash. There is going to be a cheeky mirror window on the wall from Brendo, and that's going to enable the impact trick from Wettables to prevent that from being opened up. So small mini game going in the way of Bliss so far.
Yeah, good start. There's still plenty of hard breach available here for Bandits. Let's not forget the triple hard breach lineup. Thermite, Maverick, Ace, everything you could possibly want. Let's see how they go on the entry. MML seems to be soloing this push from Kitchen with no drones ahead of him. Sage, down below. You might hear if MML makes too much noise. He can hear those footsteps.
Yeah.
When we spectate him, you can just hear light footsteps. So Sage knows exactly where that player is above.
Oh dear.
MML's found a very nice angle onto Oda. That was a nasty kill. Is Sage going to be able to refrag it?
Just playing the slow game for now. MML seems to have some idea that there is a player or some presence on the main stairs, but from which floor is it going to come from?
Oh, he's falling back.
He's actually going to fall off of this angle instead, so MML's life will be spared for now, as the rest of Bandit actually go and rendezvous over onto his position. They're actually going to take this master side of the map as well and try and push in from Con. The danger of what they're trying to do here, though, is that there's actually a line of sight on the Con wall instead of that being reinforced. They're going to play off the back of Brendo's mirror to prevent that push in through Con.
Oh, well, believe it or not, Sage in the end does get the last laugh over MML. Okay, that's an aggressive push in from Eraser. Fisher guy was completely unaware that he would be exposed to that angle. Once again, Bandits have the advantage. Now there's information in Master on the back of a Valkyrie cam, and Sage is trying to get something going on the back of it, but now he's worried about Eraser down below. And this is a bit of a dodgy position for Bliss to find themselves in.
So the danger here for Bandit is that they then have to fight Brendo in his position just on top of the red wall. Those flashes are going to enable Lonely to make his way in, though.
And Drift needs to find these kills, needs to put the pressure on, needs to cover for Lonely, but he will lose that fight. Believe it or not, he traded. Bliss, 2 players left to go. As Sajon tries to make his way back to the side, and, well, Eraser's coming from behind. The plan's still not confirmed. Wettables, all he's got to do is deny it! How does he win the 1v3? 1 kill is all that's needed, and the tables have turned on Bandits.
Oh, that's not a bad one from you, is it? Hey, the newest addition to Team Bliss is going to save them that round and push them over. It's really, really well played there from Wettables. He just got that one critical kick in the late rounds to be able to push that one over the line. That was close. That really scared me there. I thought Bandits had that one.
Yeah, I mean, even Bandits, it was terrifying every step of the way. They were scared shitless of that plant denial, right? Like, they're like, there's information, I'm getting red pings, you know, they know where I'm planting, so he plants on top of a desk to not be vulnerable to C4. And then even when Sage dies, Wet knows exactly what's going on.
That Wet is just having the time of his life. He's like, oh, yeah, you know, give it to me. That was good. Oh, dude. No, that was so scary, though. I actually think Bandit made a great call there. There was actually no mirror, I believe it is, on the top of the red stairs. I'm actually not sure where that second one went for Brendo. I didn't look carefully enough. But off the back of the utility they sent in, they actually almost made that flood work. And like you said, they were being so cautious in that execute. But
they sent 2 players downstairs to hunt the C4 guy.
Yeah, they hunted the C4, they tried to prevent it, and, you know, they tried to flush out Brendo as well. They did, like, all the right things, but just, the one pick that they needed to go the right way, that was all Wettables.
That is going to haunt Bandits' nightmares for quite some time. That's the kind of round
so sad, man.
that keeps you up. I'm not even capping. Like, that is the kind of round that you think about when you're trying to go to sleep at night and you're like, if only I had planted behind the green box. If only I hadn't dropped down below. If only I'd covered my teammate. There's so many if-onlys. But only 2 more rounds left for Bliss to close this out in Jake's scoreline of the 7-3.
Yeah, all right, and down to the basement is where they're going to send us as well. It does look like they're going to fully lean into this anchor setup. They are going to bring along the Cade on Oda to try and keep all those hatches closed for as long as they can. I think the danger here for Bandit, of course, is that they have brought along that Thatcher, so that minigame will be played out, and it should be leaning in towards the attack side. Those EMPs should be pretty easy to juggle on the Moto hatch, so hopefully they're able to clear that one out with ease, as they've been given a lot of this map control for free.
That they have. Looks like there's a bit of a Bandit juggle going on here for Oda. Doesn't have any in pocket at the moment, but he is just underneath that Moto hatch. And well, we know that there's a Thatcher on the board, and if played right, there's no way that you can Cade Trick against a Thatcher. But Oda's still going to give a go of it.
Yeah, it's going to happen, it seems. So Drifter's going to set himself up for this minigame, just like you are speaking about. First EMP's going to go out. The second one is going to follow as well. I don't think Oda's landed this one in time, so what he's going to do instead, he's going to claim that Electric Claw back and instead work on the next minigame, which is going to be to trick the triple wall. Unfortunately, the first one not quite going his way, but hopefully enough time has been delayed so that they can prevent the next step of the push.
I mean, that's worth it though for Oda, right? Like, time is ticking away here for Bandits, and even though the triple wall has remained closed, I think there's no EMPs left to deal with that.
Yeah.
So the Bandits don't have a lot of options.
Yeah, that was exactly going to be my comment now. Bandit actually have to force themselves to go in for this kitchen hatch drop. They can no longer go for a triple push because that wall is going to stay closed. Nevertheless, I believe someone is still down on the main stairs. That's Jackos, who is going to try and hold on to that line of sight as Team Bliss players cross over. The kitchen hatch drop, of course, is going to be the execute on the cards, and the pivotal defender to contest that is going to be that player behind AKs.
How will they crack into this bomb site? Oh, it's not great. One kill either direction. Ooh, Brendo almost loses that fight, but he does quickly swing on back again. Desperation now for Bandits, but Jacko's made his way in, claimed his first kill of the game, looking for a second. But he can't quite find it as of yet. Diffuser is in pocket for Drift. Jacko goes down, and poor Drift is left on his lonesome, falls victim to Oda and the TCSG. And Bliss have finally found the match point that they were looking for.
Yeah, they've done well there on the defense, just playing the time game, you know, knowing that Bandit are going to take a while to clear their way through the map. As the mid-round minigames went on, I think ultimately Bliss did come out on top. They essentially cut off a complete format of attack that Bandits could do. They couldn't go for that triple take. They forced them to go for that kitchen hatch drop. And I think Brendo winning out his two-piece inside of blue was really what sealed the deal there for the defense. He could then just turn his attention to the execute that was coming through and kill them as they were dropping through the hatch.
What do you do if you're Bandits now? I guess, if anything, you can cling on to the fact that Bliss have just won 2 defenses and are therefore forced onto a tertiary site. But the pressure's definitely mounted. They got a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of comfort in the first half of the first half, if I can say that, the first quarter, 2-1 advantage. Since then, they won a single attack, their very first attack, but it haven't found anything else. And that has been the curse for them these last 2 rounds. I mean, it's been close, you got to admit, right? That basement attack was not the greatest, but they had to get 1v3'd by Wettables in the round prior to that on CCTV. So Bandits are not far off here.
5 seconds left.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Like Bliss showing a couple cracks here in the defense and Bandit doing their very best to make their way in. I think that last execute as well, like you're saying, they have some good ideas. Like there are things, but they actually have a good try there. You know, Jacko trying to make his play in through the main stairs, realizing that his teammates didn't have a lot of room to work with. He tried his best, but Bliss were there to shut him down. So I think overall Bliss now really leaning into this disciplined game, realizing that they've lost a few rounds on the cards and just trying to come back with a nice, good defense.
Well, Bandits on the attack now. They've got all the ingredients you would want. Your Thermite, your Thatcher, your Ace, and some nades to boot. And they'll start getting to work on breaching the CCTV wall. Of course, it's a gym defense, so breaching this is just about helping clear... Oh, that's a bit unfortunate. I think that's still vaultable. Didn't quite... The first detonation didn't actually breach the metal, but I think the second one did.
I think the main thing is that it doesn't need to be vaultable, right? It's not exactly mission critical to this bomb site. They don't actually need to entry inside of cache if they want to try and turn their attention towards the actual bomb site and do it a more direct hit instead. That EMP is going to enable the jacuzzi wall to be opened. And I think all that Drift needs to do on his part is just make sure that the players on the balcony are free to put that pressure on the bomb site without being killed by the server window player.
Ooh, Eraser almost gets C4 there on the balcony. 2 missed C4s this round for Bliss. They've tried to clear out some of these key positions with those nitro cells, but have not found any luck. Funnily enough, Bandits will do it right back to them with nades of their own. Wettables goes down, and it's a good opener for Bandits.
Yeah, so unfortunate. Oda not quite in the right position with those Wamai discs to help out his teammate. Instead, he's down below, but he's actually going to make some good effort for his cause. He's going to be able to claim the second, surely, if he can land these shots inside of bathroom. But instead, he's going to start to back away from this. Instead, he peeks up for the bomb for the fight, but Jacko is able to claim his life.
Credit to Jacko. that was a nice angle and a nice kill. Hopefully he'll finally muster some confidence here. These last 2 rounds, he's finally found some frags and finally helping his team get some wins on the board. But Bliss, they're continuing to fight back and they will not let Jacko rest for a moment. 3v3 now, and Bliss have brought this back.
Yeah, so instead the remaining Bandits players are going to start to rendezvous all of their players just outside of the bomb site to see what damage they can do a bit closer to the execute. Brendo's going to hear one of these players of the attack get on the drone and try and get aggressive on him, but Drift is going to take him down. Sage, though, is there for the trade, so it's back to 2-2.
I mean, Sage, we were talking about this earlier. 2.0 KD right now in the stage. This guy refuses to die. Let's see what he can conjure up now. He's got a mirror to his position. Sage goes down. All on the Fisho. It's a 1v1. No more mirror to use. Drift will have to go for the kill. The diffuser is cold on the ground, but it doesn't matter because Fisho's confused as heck. And Drift is drifted right on by. Bandits cannot believe they've won that.
Yeah, another close one there to take away from Bliss. Unfortunately, Fisher guy just looking in the wrong direction in the last second of the gunfight allowed Drift to get that final peek in. So really well played there from the remaining players of Bandits to just brute force their way onto the bomb site. It was a 3-on-3, and what they needed to do was just win those individual 1 versus 1s. And they did that to perfection as they made their way in. So Bliss actually have a round stolen off them.
They do, and with that, Jake is officially wrong. So
That's what matters.
You can sit in solidarity, Mandy, that while you and Guz were wrong, so was Jake. So that's what's most important at the end of the day. Bliss, though, they've come off 2 of their most recent matches.
Man.
I respect him, dude. He's honestly one of the highlight rookies for me this stage.
Yeah, I think so. Like, all the Bandits guys seem really nice. I don't know, I haven't done a lot of speaking to them, but I know you have, and they seem like pretty humble, man.
Yeah,
they seem pretty chill.
Totally. I had a little bit of a chat to Drift, and I think it was MML was the other one I spoke to just in DMs, and yeah, they were super keen. I think they just love the chance to show what they've got, right? And
yeah,
that's something I have an immense respect for. For Bliss, on the other hand, they're 2 rounds away from Bandits pushing OT. Now, I'm not suggesting it's going to happen, but this realistically should have been a 7-1, 7-2, 7-3, and Bandits are refusing to die. Now, this is the same map where Bandits stole a point away from Circular Spheres, now Aerial Arise. And Bliss, while they had a rocky start to the stage, they've gone 7-1, 7-1 in their most recent 2 matches. This should be another 7-1.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, I actually completely forgot that these guys thieved points off of Circular Spheres on this exact map. I completely forgot about that, even though that was a match that we casted, wasn't it? So we got excited about.
And it was when we got super pumped for Bandits.
Yeah.
Like, this is...
Oh, I totally forgot about that. That feels like so long ago now. Oh dear. Okay, well, that's not the good. That's the bad.
It is bad.
Yeah, so Brendo, with that shotgun, is going to claim the
Oh
life.
my god, that is
Yeah,
gruesome.
that's a bit gross.
Holy
okay,
moly.
so the moment that wall went soft, he knew that the Maverick was going to be on the side of the soft wall, right?
Play.
Yeah,
Very
so he just
clever
goes
play.
bang, and wall bangs him through it. Oh, yuck.
It looks like a
disgusting.
scene out of Psycho or something. That's one of the, it's not often I think this game really is MA, and then you watch that and you're like, my god.
Brutal. Anyway, yeah, so Fisher Guy, with the aid of the Azami, is going to extend out into Master, but will fall back to safety. He's not going to be cut off by Lonely, who's just on the roof, trying to catch him off inside of Con. Meanwhile, MMO down below has got a bit of a lurk going on.
He might catch Sage. He's just moving down in Lounge. Now, he won't have heard anything yet. It's still too far away for that. But this is a lot of the meta, isn't it? You just sit and wait and hope and pray.
Hang out for a little bit and see what's... Oh, he's heard everything, man. He's heard exactly what's going on. But anyway, the other thing that's important is what have the rest of Bandit done, right? They're going to start to make their way in through the other side of the map. Now, the wall inside of Con is electrified, so they're going to have to throw a grenade over to enable those Selmans to get on the wall, and then they can finally start pressuring out into the bomb site. Oh, MML, man. He's done good here. Oh, no, Bliss know what's going on. They know exactly what's going on. Oh, no, they don't. Maybe they don't.
He's sus, but he's not sure.
He's sus.
But whoever makes the first move may lose. Oda's actually fallen back. He's no longer on the angle, so nobody's watching Sage's backside at the moment. And MML's in a decent position, but really it is just a game of timing, isn't it? And speaking of time, there's not much on the clock.
Yeah, on the other side of the push, I believe the con wall has finally been opened, so Bandit do have an in onto the bomb site, but with all those smoke babes going out from Brando, it's going to be pretty hard to execute.
Okay, MML's getting aggro now. This is Sage's moment to shine. And as he goes for it, he finds Jacko. Could it be a second one for Mitchell? Sage? Lonely. 1v5 to save the game. It's a dream, mate. It's never going to happen. Surely he can pad the KD. He can hope and pray, but there's no way that he is going to land this shot. Bliss might have started slow to the season, but they found their groove here. A 7-4. They're quite as dominant as they would have hoped, but a full 3 points that they will happily take.
Yeah, I think the expected result coming in, but actually Bandits played a pretty good clubhouse here. They did steal away 4 rounds from Bliss, so